At this time, we will have our evaluator, top table topics. Okay. Table topics by Francis Howard.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
We're saying good evening and the sun is still up and shining, which is a good thing. This evening, I have the pleasure of fulfilling the role as Table Topics Master. Like Ms. Sonia already explained in a nutshell what Table Topics is speaking off the cuff, impromptu speaking. I myself, I don't like table topics. But January, one of my New Year's resolutions was to compete in the table topics contest. I fear it so much, I hate it, and I just want to do it, get this fear out of me. And so I did. As you know, my husband wasn't able to compete, so I competed in his stead in the area contest, and I won for some reason. This evening, the theme of our table topics is going to be job interview questions. The past couple of years, we've had some rough time in the economy, and I know one way or another, we know someone who has been let go in their job. I myself, I wasn't let go, but I did apply for a position, and I haven't applied for a position in my work for 5 years, so I didn't know what to expect. So I was asked some really probing questions, and those are the questions I'm going to ask this evening. First of all, I would like to ask our guests if they're willing to participate. Yeah, well, that's what. Mr. Lincoln. I will call other people first, and then so you'll see how it goes. Dwayne, you participate. I don't even have to ask you. For table topics, Dwayne is like our honorary guest. You will be given 1 to 2 minutes. The green light will come on at 1 minute. The time light's over there. 1.5 the orange light, and the red light will come on at 2 minutes and will stay on. You have to cut it off at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, okay, for you to be eligible for voting for the best table topics of the evening. So without further ado, I would like to call on, one more thing. Since we only have one speaker, it is just condign that we have more fun in the table topics. I just want to remind you to use the word of the day, condign, in your topics. Mr. Jim Hall, come on. Mr. Jim, if you were to recruit someone to be a chicken poop scooper, what would you tell this person to convince them to take the job? If you were to recruit someone to be a chicken poop scooper, what would you tell this person to convince them to take the job?
Madam Table Topics, my goodness. I want all of you to know right now that you are in a good spot sitting there, being that you weren't the one selected for this. But actually, whenever she gave me this topic, I embrace this. I embrace this because you don't know this, but I'm fixing to let you know. There were 2 summers of my life when I worked at a sewage plant. Oh, yes, I did. I worked during the off-college time whenever I went back home and I was hunting for a job, and lo and behold, I ended up at the sewage plant. 2 summers in a row. This is the truth. Am I lying? I'm not lying here. I will tell you that whenever they first hired me, I said, okay, I want to know some particulars about this job. And they said, man, We guarantee it is $3.25 an hour and all you can eat. And I said, yikes. But I had an opportunity to be able to shovel an awful lot of stuff. And so, if you put me in this same kind of position, looking for somebody to do this chicken thing, my main thing that I would tell them is don't chew gum while you're doing this job, because if you drop it out, it may take you the third try before you get the gum. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. In life, I have met some people that they thought that they were just up here on the ladder and that they didn't want to stoop down to do the menial jobs. But I have got to tell you that in the kingdom, if you're one of these churchy type folks, you've got to be willing to do any job. And I've done them. I mean, I know what it's like to clean toilets at a church. I know what it's like whenever something overflows and you got to be the guy doing it. I know that, and I embrace it. So this kind of thing, it's not a hard thing to find somebody like this. You got to just find somebody that has the same kind of kindred heart and spirit that you got. That's unafraid of the nasty jobs. Unafraid of getting into a dumpster if you have to. I've been there, friend. I've been in the dumpster. You may not believe it, but I have been. I'm just saying, things like this, I embrace them. I embrace them and I don't run away from them. Madam Table Talk, Toastmaster.
I just hope you didn't embrace Carol after doing that job. Speaking of Miss Carol Hall, come on up. This one question always asked in job interviews. How do you see yourself in 5 years? Miss Carol.
5 years passes quickly, especially if you're about the business of the corporation that you're being hired for. So I would say, first of all, I'd like to get to know everybody within the organization. As a young lady, I started out with Kmart Corporation at the bottom rung. And with Kmart, I started working in the children's department stacking Pampers. After about 6 months, there was a position that came open in stationery. And I was offered the job because of my consistency. Being there, always with a smile on the face, always friendly to the customers, and taking care of any other fellow employees who needed an extra pair of hands from time to time. All those things work into your behalf. And if you have determination, you can raise on the ladder depending where you'd like to go. I know this by personal experience. Like I said, I started with Kmart in the Pampers department and ended up, after 11 years, as personnel training manager with Kmart Corporation. Anything is possible. It's where your mind sets to go and asking the Lord to give you strength. You can do it. So within 5 years, I would see myself in management, no matter where I started.
She's hired. I'm scoping. Miss Valerie. I need to ask you something first. What's your job right now? What's your vocation right now? Assistant manager. Miss Valerie, if you were to apply all over again in your current position, and I am your hiring manager, what would you tell me to convince me that I should give this job to you? You're already doing it. It's just, you'll put it in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. See yourself that you're applying for this position right now, all over again.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is a good day here at Jacksonville North Toastmasters. I have the great pleasure of convincing my manager to hire me in my current position. I've been at the college, Florida State College in Jacksonville, for a number of 16 years. I have worked in the department for 10 years. I have experience working with the computer system. I am a very good troubleshooter. I can resolve issues, troubleshoot issues, and recommend suggestions as to how to resolve issues with the computer system. I'm a dedicated employee. I am an analytical thinker and can think outside of the box. I work very well with others, and I can convince others to agree with me when there is an issue of conflict where it's one side and the other side, and I can convince a medium. So I am a very good mediator for processes and getting resolutions to processes. That is about it.
Right. She's hired too. Mr. Jared.